I just borrowed on top of borrowed on top of borrowed, and then it was unbearable. It was too much. At the end, the judge said, "You are going to lose. As I'm telling you now, she's going to win. Sort yourself out. You better settle."
You guys are in for an absolute treat today. If you are watching this, stay tuned for an incredible story, almost unbelievable, about what God has done in somebody's life, how he turned around their situation, took them out of a desperate situation in their finances, and set them on a solid foundation. I know that you are going to find this really encouraging. Stay tuned.
I come from a Jewish family in South Africa. Very smart family, accountants, business people. One could even be a forensic accountant, actually is a forensic accountant. And so a large family, but I have two brothers and myself. I was very much the youngest, probably about 11 years from my oldest brother to me. I was an oopsie baby, and I was very much the fairy in the family. I was always wandering off in my mind everywhere, but where they would like it to have been. My family very much wanted me to do accounting, follow in their footsteps, but nah, I was too busy wandering off everywhere else. I was more creative. I never ever had an idea of what I wanted to do, which is why I was a wanderer. I was very much in the clouds all the time, and I just fell into whatever came my way. So I ended up working in a school with children as a nursery nurse, in a nursery for 20 odd years. So that's what I did. My father, as a 21st gift, gave me a ticket. South Africans couldn't travel at the time, but when Mandela came in, the window opened, and he said, "Go see the world. I'll buy you a ticket, just go and see what's out there." We were never allowed to travel before. So I came over, and being a very naive South African girl, didn't know very much at all, I met my husband as I was backpacking. So I was backpacking, and I got a job at the Barbican Arts Centre, which is where I met my husband. My situation is very obviously someone or a family that doesn't have the first clue about managing money. And we just got ourselves into terrible situation and that's the irony, because I came from a family that knew how to manage money, and I didn't have a clue. So they were all doing great, and I was just digging one hole after another. But instead of speaking out and asking for help, I thought I could sort it out myself, and I just got even deeper and deeper into a mess because I hadn't had any understanding of how finances work. So it became severe debt, severe debt, literally reaching the point that you don't think you're going to come back from. You think that's it, you're going to lose everything, because it just was so badly mismanaged, it just ballooned, and then you just didn't know where to turn or what to do, and you just kept thinking you're trying to fix it, and it was at the point where it wasn't fixable. Horrendous. I think I fell into depression. I had anxiety, I had panic attacks. I reached the point that I couldn't even open the laptop to check the finances every month because I'd literally panic. I'd be in a terrible state, but I had to try and hide it from everyone because I didn't want everyone to know in the family, even my husband. I just tried everything to keep it from him because he was working so hard and I didn't want to put any pressure on him, so I thought I could manage it. I'll keep it all from him, but it was imploding on the inside of me. Yeah, I ended up on medication. I ended up in a really bad way, needing to, I had to try and see a counsellor, I had to get medication, and I didn't want to be on all of that, to be honest. I went rock bottom, but then God stepped in.
Right.
Because I think he'd been trying to wake me up for some time, and I wasn't paying much attention. You know, I kept getting bad feelings, like, stop doing what I'm doing, you're making it worse, but you tend to ignore it because you think you know better. And then I stumbled across this local church. In that local church, there was a course that was being run, and I stepped on this, and it was almost like God planned it all. It was like he was ahead of me. And it was when I stepped into that, it gave me hope immediately. It's fixable. It's not fixable, it's fixable. And the point is, God kind of carried me all the way through. I hadn't seen it until I looked back and I realized he was actually carrying me and then got me to the door, because at the end of the day, I have to still make the step myself. Learning how to budget, managing your finances, the very basics, learning where to start. because I'd never done a budget in my life. I'd never understood money, and it was like making it all clear and putting it all down that you could understand. Start with the budget. Start breaking things down so you can actually make a step forward. If you're just wandering in the wilderness, you're just going to keep going round and round in circles. And to me, it was the tithing part that made the difference to me. And even though the budgeting, I was learning a lot, I was putting it all into practice. That's the key, putting it into practice. And then as you start doing that, the little bits you start to turn around, it starts to make, the changes start to happen. But the tithing was the key, 100%. It takes work, yeah, it takes work, but God works with you. He doesn't leave you, and He's not going to let you sink, but you've got to also realize your mistakes. You've got to realize where you're going wrong and work with God in partnership. So together, you can be moved forward. Not that God doesn't do His miracles, because He did. As you know, He does amazing things. But it's to give you that little boost of hope. But be sensible now. Think about what you're doing. Think about where you're going and what you're going to do next. And He gives that all to you. He literally lays it all out before you. You've just got to look. It's there. It's there. You've just got to learn to read it and be brave enough to take it. I would say it was the accumulation of borrowing money. So you run up a debt, say, for example, on a credit card. You borrow the money to pay the credit card. Then you move debt from one credit card to another credit card, the interest-free trick. And then you take out another one because you still need to run the family. We weren't earning enough, and I had an elite gymnast in the house, which was costing us a fortune. And instead of going, okay, well, we can't attend every competition, let's hold back here, I didn't want to let him down. And then we had pets, and then we had bills, and because we weren't earning enough, we were going above and beyond our means. So I was using the credit cards to cover all that. And then it was one credit card, then another credit card, then another credit card. And then, oh, okay, they won't give me any more, so now I'm going to have to get a loan. So get a loan to clear the credit cards, then do it all again. And then, oh, okay, now I need to take another loan to clear those cards. It became a web of a mess that you would not believe. About 58,000 pounds on people that we were not earning huge amounts of money. But that was the irony, is that if I had budgeted, I could kick myself. If I had budgeted from the very beginning, we had money to more than manage. But because I was using that, I'd already gone into debt, so I was using that to then carry that, and then that disappeared, and then I was just living in the debt. Because I just hadn't done it right from the very beginning. If I'd done it right, I wouldn't have been in this mess. But, you know, we all make these mistakes and we learn from it, but that's what had happened. I just borrowed on top of borrowed on top of borrowed, and then it was unbearable. It was too much. And the thing is, the banks keep throwing it at you. Oh yeah, go on, take another one. Oh, another 25 grand. Oh, another 25 grand. I was just, oh, okay, that's cool. Then I don't have to worry for another few months, and then it just blows out again. I'd been in my job for 20 years now. Bear in mind, I've been playing this roller coaster with these debts. And for a while, God had been nudging me to leave, and I just wasn't listening because I get scared. I just thought, I'm earning my salary, I've got all these debts, I've got to keep where I am. Then God decided, no, you're going to do what I want you to do. And I lost my job. It was a whole nother situation. I had witnessed a teacher harm a child, put it this way, but the teacher was the best friend of the head teacher. They turned on me, and they turned it as if it was me that had done it. But luckily, I had documented everything and kept everything, written down. Funny enough, I don't know what made me, I suppose God made me do that, because I never keep diaries, and I thought I'll start keeping one because something isn't right here. Something was very off. They put me in a disciplinary and decided, you're out your job. I couldn't understand what had actually happened because I was alone attending all these meetings. I met someone from the church who knew a barrister who kindly decided to assist me and said, right, we'll take it to tribunal. There was also another member of the church that supported me, Susie. She supported me through the whole thing, guiding me on all the steps, because a lot of the work had to be done by me. I had to put all the work in to help keep the costs down because I had no money. I had no money to pay this barrister. I was in that debt. I was in this whole situation. I then had to go take the school to court, and that was horrendous, but God did an amazing, amazing job there, because when God likes to confuse your enemies, he does a fantastic job. Because if I look back now, it was like a comedy sketch, because they couldn't keep a solicitor. Every solicitor, they kept changing because none of them couldn't handle the case. I came in with files this big, they came in with 4 pieces of paper, and the judge was laughing. He goes, really? And one barrister after another, they couldn't keep them. None of them would take the court on. They tried to get the police to arrest me. They did all sorts of, God went, really? They tried to throw me off the child protection, that I couldn't look after children. They laughed, they went, I don't think so. And I went, well, they see, that's God again, what can I say? It was like a comedy sketch, because at the end, the judge said, you are going to lose. As I'm telling you now, she's going to win, sort yourself out, you better settle. So she told them straight. I mean, it was hilarious. But before all that, I'd lost my job. Now I'm in trouble. I have no income, COVID hit. My husband, thank God, kept his job. He was in the entertainment industry, and that just got annihilated. But for some reason, the little crew at the back of the backstage was kept safe. All of them, it's only about a handful of them, kept their jobs. You see, so we had at least the one income, mortgage, debts, still having to run a home, feed the family, keep everything going. I thought I was at the point I was going to just fall on my face, and that was going to be the end of it. I thought that was it, I'm finished. What am I going to do? I felt as if my heart had literally left my body, because I was in a total panic. And again, there's a fantastic support team at the church, and I just fell to pieces. And I remember contacting Sally and Becky, and they would pray with me. They just tried to keep me from just panicking. I was constantly on a daily I can't breathe, I can't focus, I don't know what to do, and just kept praying. And there was, see, God is so great in the sense that he gives you these little nuggets of, it's okay, I'm going to throw something your way, you're going to be okay. And there was one day, I'll never forget, there was nothing in the account, and I thought, yeah, we go, the mortgage is coming out tomorrow. I can't do this, there's no money. Well, how am I going to pay the mortgage? And I just put my hands on the laptop. I know it sounds really weird. And I said, Lord, please, I've just got to get through this month. That would be great if you could just help me. I just really called out to him. And I don't know, this is definitely, it can only be God. The money was there, and I could pay the mortgage that month. And where that came from, I don't know, because I couldn't work it out, because there was no money. So where's this money come from? But it was just, I'm there, keep going, right? And that's when I then got into the course, and I'd managed to get a little charity job. And I was only getting like £80 a week. And when I'd done the course, that's when I understood the tithing, and I thought, you know what, I know it's only £8, but it's God's, and I'm going to do this. And I thought, yes, you're £8. I know it sounds ridiculous, but to God, it's not. It's that step. And then things just snowballed from there. God stepped in again, and the case was settled in my favor. I was able to clear the debt. That's when I decided, you've got to focus. I don't ever want to go back down that road again. Just listen to God. He lays it all out there for you. It's really not hard. If you just do it right the first time, you wouldn't be in this mess. So focus. And it's so easy. That's what it's too easy. You know, you think you're being clever. You know, the first trick is, moving from this card to an interest-free. And then unless you're disciplined and you don't ever touch the credit card until that's completely gone, most of us are not. We're just going to keep going to the same. There's things we need, there's things we want, emergencies. That was our problem. It wasn't that we were spendthrifts and we would go out and, buy clothing and shoes and lavish holidays. And that was not our problem. Our problem was just basic living. Oh, this broke down, the car broke down. Oh, we need to get that fixed, and that needs to be done. And those things are not cheap. They actually are quite, unless you have something set aside, like your emergency fund that you teach us about, you end up borrowing because you don't have that excess income. And especially in today's day and age where things are getting so expensive, you just got to be so smart, honestly.
And what's changed, Tina?
Oh, now I actually like numbers. How scary is that? My family would be so happy because I actually like looking at the budget. Through the financial group that we're doing, small group, last night they said, if you're spending a lot on food, for example, break it down, put it on the fridge so it's visual, and then you can see what you're doing, and obviously take it out with you when you go shopping, but look at what you're actually spending. Oh, I loved it. I was last night drawing little tables up, putting all food down, highlighting what I'm doing, and I actually enjoy it now, and that's what's really bizarre because I'm a creative person, so I don't like numbers, but I actually really love it, and I love looking at it and thinking, oh, I've managed to find a little bit of extra money. Let's put that to one side. I'm learning about investments through those small groups are beyond brilliant. They are run by the most amazing people that know what they're doing and have really broke it down simply for people like me that don't understand it fully. But now I get it. And now I'm actually teaching my children to invest. I'm learning to do that. So it's brought me such a long way. I mean, it's been a journey. You know, things don't always happen overnight. It was a long journey, but it's an amazing journey that you can look back and think, wow, God walked with me every step of the way. And now He's given me a love for numbers, for understanding how they work and how important they are in your life, because we live in this world. We have to function around it, and you just got to be a bit clever with it. When they were praying with me and I would spend time in the Word, they said, just go to the Word, just go to the Word. And I would just spend time in the Word, and literally it was like God jumping out at you. And I would go from panicking to, it's okay, I can breathe, I can trust in God, it's okay. And you calm yourself, well, you calm yourself, He calms you. He just comes in and it just calms you. Now I have zero fear. I get excited going on to the budget every month, and I'm not afraid to open up anything. I'm not afraid to face any of the challenges that come along because I know they can be fixable. So complete peace. I am not allowing that to control me anymore. I'm now controlling it. It's the other way around. You know, I just think you really need to truly understand that God is genuinely there. He's not this little pie in the sky person that's floating around. He is literally in every fabric and movement of your life. Like I said from the very beginning, He'd already tried to move me and I wasn't listening. You know, He was already laying down the foundations. Okay, I'll make sure this person's sent your way. I'll get that barrister prepared. I'll get all this done. And literally, if you look back, it is God in everything, because it was all meant for evil, but He just keeps turning it around for good. I wish I could have filmed it. It would have been such an hilarious thing. I mean, I'll give an example. We had, because it was all online, because it was during COVID, their solicitor came on, and he had sat in his bedroom. Behind his cupboard the doors were falling off, the clothes were hanging out. He didn't even have a tie on. He was sitting like this. He looked like he hadn't combed his hair. And then my barrister, thank God, you know, fellow Christian, smart, dapper, ready, sitting there. And the judge came on and she went, what? I nearly burst out laughing. He couldn't speak. He couldn't string his words together. He couldn't put anything in place. Little things like that. And it was time and time again. They were fumbling their words. They couldn't come out with anything. And the judge was, what is going on here? She was literally saying to them, what are you doing over here? So it just shows you how He works. And it was, my barrister would just throw out every one after, and it was voila. And it just wish people could see God is there all the way. And it's only when you look back do you actually see how He functions in every part. He wants to know everything, every small detail. And He knows when you get in a mess. And I'm not going to say this is still a journey. I'm not going to not make more mistakes. But it doesn't mean God's going to abandon me. It's right there. And now He's equipping you. So this is all about learning. It's about drawing close to God, learning wherever you can. If something comes up within the church and there's something new to learn, get on it, grab it, and then you'll be amazed at what comes from that. He's always there, and He's always faithful, and He's just quite an amazing God. He really is.
Would you recommend the course?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It was life-saving, not just life-changing. It actually saved my life. What would have happened if I'd not gained any knowledge? Where would I be right now? Not that God would leave me sinking into nothing. Of course He would have been there. But He guides you to where you've got to grow your own knowledge. You've got to get on and make those changes yourself. He's got to work with you. And That was the turning point. That just saved my whole family's life, not just my life, our whole family's life, because they're all learning, even though from me. And so you grab that knowledge and you run with it. You run with it, because you can't go wrong. I promise you, you cannot go wrong.
Wasn't that just the most incredible account of God's faithfulness? His goodness and his mercy. However desperate your situation may feel or seem today, God can turn it around. I love what Tanith said about how we work with God. It takes action on our part because faith without works is dead. So let me ask you, what action do you need to put in today? What is it that you need to change about your habits and your behaviors? What knowledge do you need to get hold of so that you can run with endurance? And remember, there is peace and fulfillment in Jesus. If you don't know Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior today, find a local church. They will be able to introduce you to him. Send me a message and I'll call you and I'll pray with you. But let me remind you that he is the reason that all of this came about and happened. None of the effort and the work that she tried on her own did anything. It didn't accomplish anything. The harder she tried, the worse it got. But as soon as she surrendered to him, look at the incredible turnaround that she experienced, and it's available for you today. Jump on the website, get on the Biblical Financial Masterclass today. You can start now online, and we really look forward to hearing your testimony.